My name is Tony Pellegrino, and I am the California State Coordinator for the State of California, the peoplesrights.org, and I'm the co-founder of the American Common Law Academy. And what I do is I assist pro se litigants who want to file federal lawsuits against government overreach and hire a bar attorney to do their paperwork, that they do it themselves. And so I have training and equipping seminars that I teach people that they can file a federal lawsuit and basically manage their own affairs without hiring an attorney, which is really expensive in a federal court. We'll address government overreach because our public officials, they swear a solemn oath, and then they sign that oath that they will support and defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies. And some of these people who sign these oath of offices have become domestic enemies themselves in this nation. And so what we need to do is address government overreach through these federal lawsuits and confront these illegitimate authorities that want to become our lords. See, a republic is a government of the people, for the benefit of the people. And basically we grant limited delegated authority, and we consent to be governed as long as it isn't overreach. And so we have a right to be left alone. We have a right to exercise our God-given rights, and we don't need permission to do so. And so we need to address tyranny in this nation, and we need to confront these oath breakers and file federal lawsuits against them. And so what I do in my seminars is I'll teach and equip you about the Bill of Rights, and how each time the Bill of Rights is violated by one of these public officials, it's $250,000 in the U.S. Code.
So my name is Derek Gates, and I am a congressional candidate for the 33rd District of California. I'm also a preacher, author, filmmaker. And why am I a patriot? Well, I'm a patriot because I'm a United States citizen. I believe anybody who's a citizen of the United States should be a patriot. That doesn't, it even means people that are immigrants. That means people that come here, they come here the right way, they get their citizenship. I believe they should be patriotic. And my experience is they're sometimes even more patriotic than the people that are born here because they know what they have to lose. But why am I a patriot? I'm a patriot because I love my country. And right now, we are seeing those freedoms stripped from us that we have in our country. And it's now time for people that are patriotic to stand up and even be more patriotic before all those are gone. A lot of people, they believe in this thing, the separation of church and state. But the reality is that the separation of church and state doesn't exist. You can't prove that theory biblically, and you can't prove that theory through politics. Some people actually believe that that's part of the Constitution. It's not part of the Constitution. It's not part of the amendments, the Bill of Rights. The reality is God has called us to influence society, to influence culture. So as a Christian, we should be influencing culture, therefore being patriotic about what God has given us. The nature of the United States, even though we've made many, many mistakes in the time that we've been a country, the nature of this country is a God-driven Christian creation experiment, so to speak. And everything about our country is reflective in the Bible. For instance, the freedom that Christ gives us is also the freedom that we experience in the United States. And that's why it's so important to fight for that freedom, because the opposite of freedom is enslavement. And enslavement doesn't just look like what we would think enslavement looks like. It can also be an enslavement of the mind, where the enemy, whatever that enemy looks like, tells you how to think, how to dress, what to wear, the what to read. And you see that now as culture is toying with this cancel culture thing, where they're literally saying, no, you can't read that, no, you can't think that, no, you can't video that, and canceling people that won't listen to the popular opinion of man. The history of patriotism and Christianity is pretty simple. So most of the people that were founding fathers of this country were Christian. They may not look like necessarily like the Christians we have today, because there's many different denominations that were brought together. Some people were Christian by name only, possibly, but other people were definitely followers. But patriotism and Christianity even went into what was called the Black Robe Regiment. So in the Revolutionary time, there was what was called the Black Robe Regiment, which were literally preachers. They would preach on Sunday, and then they would grab their gun and go out and they would fight the war because they knew what they were fighting for. They knew that they were literally fighting for their religious freedoms. We came to the United States and settled the United States to escape religious persecution. And then, through time, it always cycles back where another system comes into place where it tries to suppress your thoughts, your freedoms, and people had to stand up. So a majority of the people that even fought in the Revolutionary War were Christian, and they were fighting for their generations that would come after them, because the wars are not about you themselves. The war is about your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and the freedoms that they need to have. You're leaving a legacy of freedom, and that's the history of it.
Yes, anybody can become a patriot. I believe it starts in this nation, in the United States, that you read the Declaration of Independence and also the Constitution, which includes the Bill of Rights. And in order to be an effective patriot, I think you really only need to know the first 10 Bill of Rights and how to effectively defend and assert those Bill of Rights. And so once you know the Constitution and you know the Bill of Rights, then you can start recognizing whether you're free or not. Because the Bill of Rights isn't a list of rights that you have from the government. It's basically a restriction against governing officials of what they cannot stop you from doing, because our rights are God-given rights. They're called creator-endowed rights. And so patriotism understands these rights, and they will assert them, and they will stand up not only for their own rights, but they will stand up for the rights of others. And so a patriot, if you want to become a patriot, when you see somebody else's rights being violated, you basically want to stand up and be your brother's keeper and go in and help them defend their rights too. So in order to have a free nation, we need to be good neighbors and friends and great patriots, and be able to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, which includes the Second Amendment, our right to bear arms. And I think that common right, that God-given right, basically is not for just for defending yourself in your own home, but also that the government doesn't try to come in and make slaves of you. So patriots are free Americans.